Dash, want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders. Peace, blessings, honors to all the brothers in this truth. We're going to try to make this really edifying, And this is going to go in on the angels and salvation, because a lot of people don't understand what salvation look like. If you go to the Catholic and Christian churches, they believe that salvation is just getting water poured over your head and then you're already saved. They don't understand that salvation is actually a physical thing that's going to happen. They don't understand what it looks like, so we're going to break it down and give more information on what salvation actually looks like in real life and what is some of the components of salvation. What's some of the things that go along with salvation? That's why I named it the angels in salvation, because a lot of people don't understand that the angels play a big part in salvation. Yahweh Shai is coming back to save us, but not just him alone, but he's going to come back with the angels, and the angels are going to play a big part. But Yahweh Shai gets credited for it because he's going to be the captain, the king of kings, the Lord of lords in charge. You know what I mean? So, but the angels play a big part, and it's all about the Lord, and it's all about his elect that's going to be elected. What are you being elected for? Well, the elect is just short for saying there's a group of people which are Israelites by blood that's going to be elected to be saved by the Lord. And what are they going to be saved for? They're going to be saved to inherit the kingdom of heaven. That's when you put it all together. That's what it means, breaking it down. So the angels are also going to be a part of the kingdom, and the angels are going to have a lot of work to do. They're going to have a big part in saving the elect. They're going to have jobs to do. You know what I mean? So we're going to get in the Bible, and there's many scriptures, so we're just going to pull a couple, to kind of break down and kind of give you a picture of how it looks, what is salvation and how that looks, and what the angels have to do with salvation. This is Hebrews chapter 1. Really you could just read the whole Hebrews, and it breaks down Yahweh Shai's position, being the king, the majesty on high, on the right hand of the majesty on high, the Father, Yahweh. It breaks down how everything was appointed to him. Yahweh Shai, it breaks down the angels. So we going to get just to verse 6. It says, and again, when he bringeth in the first begotteth into the world, he say, and let all the angels of God worship him. So I wanted to get that verse first to show that all the angels of God worship him. So if the angels are worshiping him, Yahweh Shai, the first begotten, right? Of course, we're supposed to worship him too. It says, and of the angels he say, who maketh his angels spirit and ministers a flame of fire, right? Because the angels don't necessarily, they could come in human bodies, they could appear in human bodies, they could appear in different ways, but their natural form is that they're in the spirit. They go back and forth from the spiritual world, and then they come down here, and they kind of keep eyes on everything until that appointed time for the end to come. And a part of them, keeping eyes on everything, a part of that is they watching the elect, and they protecting the elect, even if you don't know it. That's where the whole you have a guardian angel thing comes from, which is true, which is real. The elect do have a guardian angels, and it says, who maketh his angel spirit and ministers a flame of fire. A lot of times when they talk about the angels, it's also talking about the chariots, what the world calls so-called UFOs, which is the chariots of Israel. They're coming back. What you see on your screen right now, the world will call that a UFO. But it's a chariot of Israel, and there's many accounts throughout the whole Bible. Ezekiel 1, Zechariah chapter 5, 2nd Maccabees chapter 5, 2nd Kings chapter 2, 2nd Kings chapter 6. Revelations chapter 1, Acts chapter 1. It keeps going on and on and on. It's so many scriptures that talks about that tells you what these UFOs are. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 is a good one, but a lot of times, like going to Ezekiel 1, it'd be speaking of the angels, and it speak of the chariots that they ride in. And a lot of times, like going to 2nd Kings chapter 2, I believe it calls them chariots of fire, So, but keep going. It says, but unto the Son he say, thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. The spectre of thy righteousness and the spectre of thy kingdom. Let me move past. I want to get straight to the point. Verse 13, it says, but to which of the angels said he at any time, right? Sit on my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. We know that comes from the book Psalms 110, right? But this shows you also that Yahweh and Yahweh Shai is two different entities. You know, there's no Trinity, because it keeps telling you that the one that the world calls Jesus Christ, which is Yahweh Shai, keeps telling you he sits at the right hand of the Father. He doesn't sit on the Father's throne. He sits on the right hand of the Father, which is also a throne. It says, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who should be heirs of salvation? So there it is, you know, back to the whole title of this lesson, heirs of salvation. That's what it's about, right? But they're ministering spirits. The angels are ministering spirits, and they're sent forth to minister for who? The elect. The elect are the heirs of salvation. So how are they ministering? What are they doing? You know, that comes in the form of protecting, doing things, guiding, giving messages. You know, that's why it don't matter what book you go into Job, you go into Psalms, you go into Ezekiel, you go into Daniel. It's always a prophet, and there's always a man, which is an angel. That's just like Ezra, second Ezra, first Ezra, Revelations. It's always an angel that's breaking down, like a man. The Lord would give him a prophecy. He give him a vision. He'll see it, but he won't understand it. And there's always an angel sent to give a message, to give him the true understanding of it. The angels play a big part in this whole thing, you know. They're always there guiding us, giving us messages, you know, doing things behind that we may never even know that they did, you know. You know how you get, you would say that you got lucky or for something, but the whole time it could have been an angel that did something for you, you know. The angels are always there, and they play a big part in salvation. This is Psalms 91. This is how it looks, right? The angels ministering to the heirs of salvation. This is how it looks. Verse 6. Verse 5. It says, thou shalt not be afraid by the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall by thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Why? Only with thy eyes should thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, my habitation. You know, going to Daniel chapter 12. Matthew chapter 24. Stand in the holy place. You know, really, we're following the Lord, you know, his law, statutes, and commandments, which is following him, you know, and having faith. It says, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thee, nigh thy dwelling. So how is that possible? It says, for he should give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. The angels is going to play a big part in our salvation. The angels are going to lead us to salvation. They're going to protect us. And when all hell's breaking loose, Jacob's trouble, Daniel 12, a time like never before, the angels are going to be there to protect us so we can even make it to salvation. To see the Lord come back and get beamed up in a so-called UFO like what you see on your screen. It says, they shall bear thee up in their hand, lest thou dash thy foot against thy stone. So even if you finna dash your foot against a stone, and it's just a parable, you might get out there in the wilderness and it's going to be hard. You might actually dash your foot against a stone. You might say, what? I thought an angel was supposed to stop me from dashing my foot. It's not saying literal. It's just saying, look, they going to be there to help you, you know. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder and the young lion, and the dragon shall not trample under thy feet. And some brothers, the angels might actually save them from dashing their foot against the stone. Some brothers might get close to dashing their foot against the stone, and the angel might stop it. You know, they might send out a laser or a tractor beam, what the world calls it, from a UFO, and might knock you off balance before you hit the stone, or they might move the stone out the way. You know, ain't no telling. It says, because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. The name is Yahweh, which is the Father. He exists. And then Yahweh Shai, which is the Son, which he saves, because, you know, that's what he's coming back to do, to give us salvation. It says, he should call upon me, and I will answer him. I'll be with him in trouble. That's pretty much what it breaks on down to. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life would I satisfy him and show him my salvation. That's what it's about. So it's telling you, look, this is salvation. But it's showing you how the angels play a big part, a very big part of salvation. I mean, when you go to Jeremiah, right, it says, I would deliver him in the time of his trouble. Now, when you go to Jeremiah chapter 30, what it would tell you, right? It says, this is Jacob's trouble. But and this is how you break down the Bible to get more understanding. Jeremiah 30, right? Straight to the point, verse 7. Alas, for the great day, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You see, so now you understand how he gonna be saved out of it. That's how you break the Bible down. You go to Psalms 91, and Psalms 91 tells you, look, he should call upon me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. That's how he's going to be saved out of it. And it tells you, if you read the rest of the chapter, most of it like we just did, it tells you that the angels play a big part. They're going to be protecting you. And then eventually, the angels are going to beam you up. Now, is all the elect going to be beamed up into one gigantic ship at one time? Maybe. We don't know. We're going to have to see. Or is there going to be smaller ships that's going to go like shuttle ships? So you still being beamed up into one big ship, with the Lord Yahushai, but maybe the smaller ships are going to go around the world collecting the elect, and then they're all going to come back to the gigantic, what the world calls mothership, we call fathership, and then we're all going to be there together. Now I know we're all going to be in one chariot at some point in time, because I believe that's Luke 13 says, you should cry or something, when roughly paraphrasing, when you see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and all the other prophets, but you yourself cast out. So for the elect that actually get to go to the bigger chariot, they're going to see Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all the other prophets. They're going to see them there, and then that's what John said in Revelations 21, I seen New Jerusalem coming down, because we're going to be renewed, and we're going to have those spiritual powerful bodies, and we're going to come down, those incorruptible, indestructible, immortal bodies that it speaks about in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. That's what we're going to have. That's what he's seen coming down. He's seen superhuman people coming down, which is the elect. Going to Matthew 24, which the whole chapter has meat on it, but I want to get straight to the point, to show you how the angels play a big part in salvation. So I'm going to start at verse 29. Matthew 24, it says, immediately after tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So this is talking about when the Lord comes back, right? And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect. So that's why I broke it down that way, because the Lord is going to send his angels. So his angels are going to actually, the Lord's going to, he get credit for saving us, but it's going to be these angels that's actually going to be there protecting us physically and beaming us up into a UFO, a so-called chariot, physically. It says, but he should send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they should gather together his elect. So that means there's going to be a lot of smaller UFOs, which the world calls shuttle ships, that's going to go around, and they're going to gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. How does that look? It looks like what's on your screen. They're going to find the elect where they're at. They're going to protect them, and they're going to beam them up, right? And then they're going to bring them back to the big ship. It says, now learn a parable of the fig tree, right? When the branch is yet tender and put forth its leaves, ye know that the summer is nigh. So pretty much it's just talking about, and I'm not going into that, discerning the times. You can read about that in Habakkuk chapter 2. You could read about that in Luke chapter 19. You could read about that of discerning the times. You could read about that in Second Ezra chapter 9, I believe. You got to be able to discern the times. Ezekiel 33, Ezekiel 3, being a watchman. I just gave you like 5 precepts. You could make a whole video off of it. You see what I'm saying? Let's jump back to what's that? Psalms 25. You can make a whole video off of it. I'll write it down. Then he said Ezekiel 33:3. He said 2nd Ezra chapter 9. He said Luke chapter 19. Habakkuk 2. It's just studying. Same way I had to get it. I had to write it down here in the precepts. Go back and study them. Watch videos over and over and over again. I don't want to go through the whole chapter, but this is Psalms chapter 25. Let me get straight to the point. I'm just gonna get straight to the point. 14. The secrets of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. And that's what's being made manifest today. The Lord showing, we can see that new covenant. We haven't went under the bond of the new covenant, but we can see it. We learning it. We can understand it, and then eventually when the Lord comes back, then that's when he's going to cause us to pass through the bond of the covenant. And then that's when Jeremiah 31, Hebrews chapter 8, then that's when that comes in play with the law, statutes, and commandments being written in our inward parts. It says, my eyes are ever towards the Lord, for he shall pluck my feet out of the net. And how's the Lord gonna pluck your feet out of the net? It's like you getting caught in a trap. We just read about it in Psalms 91. The angels are gonna be there, helping you not get set up, helping you not get trapped. If you do get in a trap, helping you get out. So it's just the same thing when you talk about FEMA camps. If a brother here, man, see that's heat right there. I gotta underline that. I gotta write that down. If a brother gets caught up in a FEMA camp, right? Then what did Psalms 25 verse 15 says? You might say, what am I supposed to do if I get caught, if I get put into a FEMA camp? What am I supposed to do? Have faith that Psalms 25 verse 15 is gonna happen. It says, my eyes are ever towards the Lord. Keep your eyes towards the Lord, for he shall pluck my feet out of the net. Turn thee up into me, right? And have mercy upon me, for I am desolate and afflicted. My troubles of my heart are enlarged. Oh, bring thou me out of my distress. Look upon my afflictions and my pain, and forgive all my sins, which is what we're asking for. Consider my enemies, for they are many, right? And they hate me and are cruel and hatred, especially Esau. It breaks down that hatred that Esau has for Israel in Obadiah chapter 1. Oh, keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in thee. Let thy integrity and thy uprightness preserve me, for I wait on thee. Redeem Israel, O Lord, out of all his troubles. Oh man, that's a lot of meat right there, because that's what salvation is. The Lord's coming back, and the angels are coming back for two things: to get vengeance for Israel against the other nations, and to redeem Israel. Redemption, vengeance, and redemption. That's what the angels are coming back to do. It breaks that down in Isaiah chapter 34. Hey man, it's a lot of heat going around right now. This hopefully, and I break it down that way, and I quote the precepts because it'll take forever for me. This will be a 2-hour long. And I already speak kind of fast. It'll be 2 hours long for me to go and read every single one of them, but I break them down because this is supposed to be a lesson. It's supposed to be a lesson to teach brothers of how to learn this and break this down too. So that's why I quote those precepts. So if a brother watching it and he's not watching it just to hear me talk, but he's watching it to actually learn, then he could write down the precepts. He could go study. He said this one, that one goes to that one, and he go study and see how the precepts go together. Because really through the precepts, that's how you break down the Bible. The precepts gonna answer your question. I don't have to sit here and answer your question in my own words. You could ask a question, I could just answer it with a precept. The precept gonna answer it, and then you might say prove it. Then I'm gonna go to another precept to back up that precept to prove it. That's how it works. This is Revelation 7:1, very popular chapter, book and chapter, right? Everybody knows this one. Revelation chapter 7. It's talking about the elect. Verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of earth, holding the 4 winds of earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to who was given to hurt the earth and the sea. So just like in Matthew 24, it's all, many times it's talking about the same event. It's just giving you a different breakdown of it. It's the same breakdown, it's the same event, but it's giving you a different angle, a different vision, a different look at it, if I must say. So it's saying the same thing. The Lord gonna give the angels charge, and they coming back. We said for vengeance. That's why they coming back to hurt shit, because they coming back to go to war. And it says, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the tree. So he talked to the angels, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their forehead. The elect being sealed. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all tribes of the children of Israel. So let's break that down, what that really means, right? So 144 is a part of the elect. That's not all the Israel. It's not going to be only 144,000 of Israel to be saved. There's gonna be millions of Israelites saved. They're the elect, but the 144,000 is like a group with inside the elect. It's like it's gonna be the government of the kingdom. You could read about it in Second Ezra chapter 2. That's the 144 elect that's gonna be with the Lord. That's gonna get crowns on their head. But all the elect, it's gonna be millions of Israel that's a part of the elect that's gonna be saved, and they gonna get crowns and they gonna get power too. But there's just different ranks. Just like amongst the angels, you got a such thing as an archangel, which means a high-ranking angels. There's different ranks amongst the angels, right? There's different ranks when it comes to the Lord. Yahweh is over Yahweh Shai. You see what I'm saying? And then the man is over the woman. So there's different ranks. There's order in everything, you know? It says, and then it goes through and say of the tribe Judah, 12,000. It tells you the 12,000. This is the elect amongst the elect. That's going to be 12,000 out of each tribe. Because when you break it down, verse 9, it says, after I behold and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number. That's a great multitude, millions, which no man can number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues stood before the throne. And it's talking about the Israelites, right? Because the Israelites are going to come with different languages. You got Israelites, Issachar. That's the Mexicans. They speak Spanish. We're here and we speak English because that's who we were conquered by. So we're going to have different tongues. You got some that's in Haiti. You got some that's on the different islands, right? And we're going to have, we're going to look like different. We're going to come looking all type of different ways. You know what I mean? And, it's talking about the tribes. When you really break this down and you go into the Hebrew and everything, it's talking about the tribes. Stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hand. Why? Because they were saved. And why do they have white robes? Because they were made pure. They were made righteous. That's what the word white really breaks down to. How were they made that way? Because they were saved. And they had the law, statutes, and commandments written in their inward part. Verse 10, and cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God which sitteth upon the throne and into the Lamb. The Lamb, you got Yahweh sitting on the throne. The Lamb is talking about Yahweh Shai. He sits at the right hand. You know, you break that down, we're going to Revelation chapter 4, or I believe Revelation chapter 5. But and so now you got a great multitude that's going to be saved, but then you got the 144. So what's the difference? You know, it's just saying there's a different ranking. The 144 is the elect amongst the elect. They're even more special. But as you see, the angels, it told the angels not to do this until. So the angels play a big part in salvation because that's what we're breaking down. Last one, not make it too long, you know, Jake, attention span. Revelation chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And as they ascended up in heaven in a cloud, their enemies beheld them. And I wanted to get that to show the image that's on your screen. That's what that looks like. What does that really look like? You read it, you say, look, I heard a great voice. It said, come up hither. So you think just a cloud just spoke, come up hither? No, it's a chariot that's cloaked in a cloud. And the chariot going to say, come up hither. It's going to say it in Hebrew. It says, and they ascended up into heaven. What do you think it's going to look like you ascending up into heaven? What did it look like when in Acts chapter 1 when Yahweh Shai ascended up and the cloud received them? What did that look like in real life? It looks the exact same way as what's on your screen. Guaranteed. Now maybe the chariot was cloaked behind a cloud so you couldn't actually see the chariot, right? Which they show, there's many reports of the UFOs being cloaked and being in clouds. You could just go on the internet and look that all up, right? And a light comes down and it beamed them up. It took them up. And what it appeared to look like is it looked like he went into the cloud and received them out of their sight and they couldn't see him no more. That's what it looked like, which pretty much is what the same thing on your screen. The only difference, imagine a cloud covering the UFO. A light comes from it. You ascend up to it. It receives you. They can't see you no more. Why? Because you're inside the UFO. You know what I mean? If he just went into the cloud, they'd still be able to see him. Because when the cloud moved, they'd see his body just sitting up there. They'd be like, oh, he's still right there in the cloud. That wasn't what happened, though. They couldn't see him because the UFO was cloaked. It was invisible. But he went into it. So when he went into it, he became invisible. They couldn't see him no more. That's why it says, as they ascended up into heaven in the cloud, their enemies beheld them. Why? Because we know that going to Revelation chapter 12, the angels and Yahweh Shai is coming back to go to war. And they're coming back to save the elect. You know, so with that, hopefully this has been edifying. You know, and I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.